everyone. Welcome to the official Lost Audio podcast. We're here for a special post-finale summer edition, I guess you could call it. We have with us today esteemed actor Michael Emerson, a.k.a. Ben. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm very good, thanks.
And we were just saying offline that neither of us have any idea about anything about Season 6. So I guess I can ask you, with no concerns or no worries at all, what did you think about that finale?
When I read it, I looked at the end, the explosion of a hydrogen bomb. I thought, hey, how are we going to do that? And what does it do then? I mean, what does it destroy or rearrange or alter? Does it have an effect on the time-space continuum? I mean, I really can't imagine where the show goes from that point.
I mean, I guess that's the big question is, who's back next season? Where are we back next season? Does it start all over? I mean, I think we were left with such a great cliffhanger in 2009 or whatever year this is supposed to be in, with your character killing Jacob. I mean, what did you think when you read that scene of all scenes?
Shocking. I mean, what does that mean then? I mean, I showed up on the day and I handled the knife and I did all that stuff, but I still can't wrap my mind around what that means. I mean, it was enough when I opened the script and saw that there's Jacob as a living, breathing character, probably different than I ever imagined he would be, maybe different from what the viewers expected, this sort of, healthy, athletic, seemingly ancient, godlike kind of a figure, and here he is having scenes with another man who's darker than he is, and what does that all mean, and where is this taking place, and what's going on?
And we seem to get back to that theme of black and white, too, with this man literally being in black and Jacob being in white. But, I would just say as a viewer, that doesn't necessarily mean that Jacob is good and the other man was bad. I mean, do you think it does?
No, our show delights in thwarting those equations, I think. So, I wondered, too.
The most interesting moment for me before your character stabbed Jacob with the knife was his soliloquy there, his rant, if you will, his what about me speech.
Yeah.
What did you think about that? Do you think that Ben is special or chosen, or do you think that he's just manipulated another pawn in the greater game?
I think Ben has always thought he was chosen, maybe foolishly, but he has always thought he was chosen, and to have it taken from him, to be shown in no uncertain terms that the father he thought he was serving all this time actually is detached and uncaring, I think it snaps something in him. I mean, we have such a strong theme in the show of parenting, of bad parenting, and, bad childhoods and stuff, and I think that's just like a really bad dad moment, and Ben just snaps. That's more than he can take.
Your character, more than any other character, though, we've gotten to see all of his life, and not in flashback almost, but in real time. We saw young Ben this season. We've seen Ben's original father figure, if you will, Roger Lyons. Yeah. How has this changed, or how has this affected the way that you've played Ben from the very first time that we met him and you on screen?
I take it all into account. I mean, I think part of Ben is frozen in his childhood, just like part of all of us is frozen in childhood at the point of certain dramatic landmarks in your life. And it explains things about Ben, and I've been happy to use that in the work. There are those scenes where Ben is thwarted or Ben is unhappy or stressed, and he turns into a kind of a cranky teenager. Sometimes he's just like, he just goes off. He just has a little meltdown, and there's nothing mature or intelligent about it.
I think my favorite meltdown that we actually talked about in a previous interview was from, I can't remember if it was last season or 2 seasons ago, but when he tells Juliet that you're mine.
Yeah. Now, see, that's such unreasonable behavior on his part. It's unforgivable. I don't even know who he is at that moment, but it's something that's not in control. Mm-hmm. And it's more like a child. I think because Ben is so well developed on some fronts, that it's counterbalanced by him being undeveloped emotionally in some ways.
Now, the other question that, I wanted to ask you, I'm sure you've been getting this a lot, and you just got done doing a lot of pre-press interviews for the finale, is how difficult has it been for you all as actors, or how much do you even try to kind of comprehend the time travel aspects and the scientific and philosophical things which are going on in the show?
We've tried to wrap our minds around it and logic it out, but it's been hard. And I think some of the conversations we've had on the set have actually found an echo in scenes in the show, like where Miles and Hurley are talking about the possibilities of time travel, and they come to dead ends. It's very much like conversations we've had on the set.
Did you guys have a conversation or debate at all among the cast on whether Jack should or shouldn't detonate that H-bomb?
Well, there was some talk. I mean, I'm not part of that subplot,
that's a good point, yeah.
I haven't been around where that was being really worked out or discussed. I'm sure they hashed that one out.
Well, one of my favorite paradigms that they discussed in our last podcast was the compass that's passed from Albert to Locke and then back to Albert. And Damon and Carlton said very specifically that was on purpose. We've gotten a lot of fan questions and thoughts leading up to that point. They were like, I don't understand. It seems like, that poor compass is caught in a time loop, a Mobius strip, if you will. But it's things like that, those little puzzles that I know really delight the fans. Do those delight you all as much on the set? Yeah.
I mean, I love that some of these are conundrums and insoluble or maddening to try to chase. But yeah, it's perfectly clear that the compass is completely intentional because they've made such a point of it.
Well, I promised you that we would try and ask easy questions during this interview, and thus far I haven't given you that at all. So let me hopefully give you something a little easier now, which is now that we're done with the finale, Season 5 is wrapped up for the time being. You have a couple of months off. What are you going to do with your time?
I tend to spend the summers trying to be in the same place as my wife, Carrie. She's still filming on True Blood, which films in Los Angeles, but she had a little time off, so we're home in New York. But I feel like we have a sort of enforced separation during the filming season when I'm in Hawaii. So I just like to follow her around during the summer. I like, to hold her coat and fetch her drinks and be her personal assistant as much as I can. I have some little dramatic jobs that are kind of a change of pace. I just finished shooting the character of a radical fundamentalist Puritan in something for PBS I had a few days on, and it was a nice kind of departure from Ben Linus.
I was going to ask if you intentionally looked for pieces that were completely un-Ben Linus-like.
I guess I wasn't really thinking about that, and of course, as I got into the playing of it, I began to see more and more parallels between, John Winthrop of the Plymouth Colony and Ben Linus, but maybe that's inevitable. It was satisfying, though, to play a costume part, a period part with, odd clothes and
clean clothes, I would say. Because
clean clothes. How about that for a change?
Well, here's the final question is, I know that this is still in the works, too, as we're talking about this, but do you think that you might make an appearance at Comic-Con this summer, which is, of course, the next big milestone leading up to Season 6 for Lost?
They tried to lure me out there last year, but the scheduling just didn't work out. I'm a little afraid of it. It sounds like such a mad event. I mean, I don't know if I could take that many fans. That's kind of intense.
It's definitely a unique experience. I've been there a couple of years now documenting a little bit of the cast and crew wanderings, and it seems like everyone does have a good time down there. So on the behalf of fans everywhere, I would say we hope to see you down at Comic-Con.
All right, well, I'll make every effort to do it, and it may work out that my wife is asked to go, too. I mean, I think True Blood will probably be represented also.
We'll just look for you holding her coat then.
Okay, very good.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on this post-finale podcast. I truly enjoyed the finale, and I hope that everyone out there, I'm sure everyone out there did as well. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
That's it for this edition of the official Lost Audio Podcast, Summer Edition. Check back with us throughout the summer, and we'll have some more tidbits for you all as we get closer to Comic-Con 2009. And in the meantime, don't forget to check out abc.com as well as your local affiliate for lots of fun summer programming to tide you over, including my personal favorite, Wipeout.